Welcome to EP Daily. Today on the show, we're counting down the biggest stories of the year in the rundown.
Plus, we continue our Rocket and Ray Gun Awards with a look at the best PC game.
And then we have more Rocket and Ray Gun Awards with the best action game. Also coming up, Jose goes in search of Ezio in our 25 Seasons in 25 Days series, and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, bringing you the latest in everything cool every single day. And in case you don't know yet, we are transitioning off of City and G4 Canada at the end of 2015. So in the meantime, as I'm talking to all kinds of people about what the future for EP might be, the best way that you can support us is go to our YouTube channel. That's at youtube.com/EPNTV and click subscribe. All right, let's get started with the rundown. We're counting down the biggest stories of 2015, and over on the small screen, things are shaking up. 2015 continued the trend away from traditional television to online. Fewer and fewer people are watching TV shows on TV, instead using streaming services like Netflix and Hulu, or buying digital downloads from services like iTunes or Google Play. Those online services also increase production of their own original content, giving audiences extra incentive to cut their cable. Traditional TV networks are also making the move. This year, CBS announced that it's creating an all-new Star Trek TV series, which will be available through various online services, but won't be shown on their actual TV network. All right, here to help me talk about TV is my pal Scott Jones, and isn't it interesting that a lot of TV shows are moving from traditional broadcast to digital?
Very interesting.
Wonder if we should get on that. What do you think?
I think it's a good idea, my friend.
How do you watch TV? You've got cable.
I watch TV all the time.
Yes.
I'm doing this right now, but as soon as it's done, I'm going back to watching TV. You know, the thing is, it's like I don't like not being in control of what I'm watching, and I don't think a lot of people out there do anymore, which explains the popularity of things like Netflix and things like Hulu.
Yes.
This was the first year that I committed myself to watching shows on Hulu. I'm still a huge fan of Netflix. Even, you know, with Game of Thrones, I got the HBO app thing.
Yeah.
But I had to get the subscription on TV, but I still watched it on my laptop. I watched all of the show on my laptop,
I know,
and that's what I do now.
It's crazy. You know, I still love television. I love cable television. I love all of the kind of infrastructure that's there. I love the just, you know, open discovery that happens from TV, and certainly we've got a lot of viewers of our show that have just found us and have kept watching us on television, which I really appreciate and love. But as a consumer of shows like Supergirl or Flash or Arrow, I'm purchasing seasons and just watching them as I go, you know, and Mr. Robot was like that,
For sure. We go through, we just buy this season. It doesn't matter if it's $20, $25, whatever. You're in control of it. You can watch it when you want to. I was on an airplane yesterday, and I'm watching an episode of Mr. Robot. That's the way, that's how I do it now. And I'm getting rid of cable, and I'm just connecting to all these things. The only thing I watch on live TV is sports. That's it. That's the only thing I'll sit through a commercial for. Otherwise, I need to be in charge. I need to know when I can stop it, when I can start it, which parts I can watch and rewatch when I want to.
I guess it's more about our busy lives and our sort of options out there than anything else.
And I still feel like it was a great year for TV. There were so many charming shows. I can't ever remember being this into TV as I am right now.
I know, very cool, and it's going to be interesting to see what 2016 means for TV and certainly us on TV. But right now we've got to go to the Rocket and Ray Gun Awards. Here is a look at our best PC game.
Welcome back to the Rocket and Ray Gun Awards 2015 edition. It's time for us to have a very uncomfortable conversation about the one appliance in your home that isn't getting enough love right now. No, I'm not talking about your blender, Marissa. I am talking about your PC.
Okay, we've got the 5 best PC games of 2015 nominations. Right now we've got Undertale, we've got Crypt of the Necrodancer, Metal Gear Solid 5, Fallout 4, and The Witcher 3.
What's this offer? Got a contract for me?
I do, if you're willing to partner with me.
Let's get the conversation started with our good friend Raju Budar. Raju, you're a huge PC gamer. What did you play the most this year? What's your favorite?
Well, I do like this category because it does highlight some indie games, and I think it's a bit of a down year. I loved Undertale. I found a lot of fun at Crypt of the Necrodancer, but really using my PC to its fullest was The Witcher 3. I mean, that is an unbelievably gorgeous game, and you had to have enough hardware to run it, but when it does run, it is amazing.
I think that's a great way to get things started. I'm going to pick Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain.
You want to head out
with the boss.
Bethesda games come in two flavors. There's the console version that's full of bugs that you'll never be able to fix, and then there's the PC version that's full of bugs that you can fix. And I find that Fallout 4 looks so much better on a high-end PC, and already the mods are starting. Already like the little tweaks to the interface and to the stuff in the game. Just the fact that you can actually build on what Bethesda's done and make it better on the PC version, for me, makes that the definitive version of Fallout 4 and kind of my definitive PC game of the year.
As you can see, we're in a bit of a mess here. A month ago, there were 20 of us. Yesterday, there were 8. Now we're 5.
Thanks, that's lots of great points, but we're moving on to Sophia now. Sophia?
Well, my PC actually got a lot of love this year. I upgraded it and everything, and I use it to play a lot of little indie games that don't really require a nice graphics card. But Metal Gear Solid 5 is going to be my pick. I just love the series. It's so wacky and crazy. I mean, the first 20 minutes, you're just, what is going on? Like flaming unicorns? Like, what is that? And that comes with D-Dog. You have to love D-Dog. So my pick goes to Metal Gear.
I know Ben Silverman's very excited. I'm skipping him. I'm going right to Victor Lucas, though.
You know, I played Metal Gear 5 on the PC, which was weird because it's always been a PlayStation brand for me, you know, but it played wonderfully on the PC. It looked incredible. But I have to agree with Steve. I think Fallout 4 is one of the strongest titles I've ever played. It's one of the strongest titles that Bethesda has worked on, and it runs much better on the PC.
Things have been dreadfully dull around here. Things will be so much more exciting with you and Mrs. back.
I agree with what Sophia said, that this was really a year all about smaller indie games that you would play on your PC. I've downloaded so many random Steam games that I just loved, and Crypt the Necrodancer was one. Undertale, spectacular and underplayed. I don't think a lot of people played it. It came out late in the year, and I'm still working my way through it.
Yeah, it's a very cool RPG, minimalist, but very smart.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to give anything away because it's got a lot of weird twists. Now, for me, this really does come down to The Witcher and Fallout. And
are you teasing us?
I love, well, The Witcher 3, I think, is my favorite RPG. But in this particular category, PC, you guys are totally right. Fallout 4, it's all about playing it on the PC.
So we got to move on to Marissa Roberto. Marissa.
Great. My turn. No, I agree with you about all of that about Fallout 4 being on the PC, and that's great, but I still have to go with what pulls me in a little bit more, and I'm a big fan of The Witcher 3. I can't even tell you how much fun I've had with it, so I'm going with The Witcher 3, everybody.
Okay. So congratulations to Fallout 4. And listen, we've got more awards to give away. It's Best Action Game of 2015 after the break.
This episode of EP Daily is brought to you by Collective Minds, the makers of the PS4 Cool and Charge stand and the Xbox One Media Hub, available at EB Games.
Greetings, Exalted One. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight and friend to Captain Solo.
Hi, I am Hannah John-Kamen. I am playing Dutch in Killjoys. Keep watching that. My first and favorite moment from watching Star Wars is actually seeing Jabba the Hutt for the first time, because I just burst out laughing and it just stayed in my memory, and I just thought, what is this? It's hilarious, this huge monster thing. There you go.
We're doomed.
Welcome back to EP Daily. Now we are in the heat of the moment with the Rocket and Ray Gun Awards. We are moving forward. We're going to talk indie games now. A lot of great indie games came out this year. A lot of great indie games seem to come out every year. Let's talk about the nominees. We've got Ori and the Blind Forest. We've got Her Story, a game not a lot of people played, but a lot of people heard about. We've got, of course, Rocket League. How could we not include that? And we have one last game, Crypt the Necrodancer. I almost forgot it.
Crypt the Necrodancer is my pick, absolutely. And it came out of nowhere. I didn't know what to expect out of the thing. It's kind of like an RPG, sort of like a roguelike, where you're going through and you die and you have to restart. You try to get as far as you can, but the whole time you're playing it, you're sort of dancing as you're playing it. I was totally captivated, and I think there's so many smart pieces to the puzzle here, and it just pulls you in with its charm, its lightheartedness, and its, frankly, awesome music. It's a terrific title, for sure.
Now, Sophia, you talked when we were talking about PC games that you were mostly playing indie games, so what's your pick here?
This is a great category, and yes, early in the year, Ori and the Blind Forest would have been my pick, but I have to go with Her Story. I played it recently. It is so different, and it's difficult to talk about it because you have to just go in without knowing anything about it. It's so unique, so it's a really great experience, and I highly recommend it. It's fairly short, you can do it in an evening, so that's going to be my pick.
Marissa, what about you? Best indie game?
I feel like I have to just go with Ori and the Blind Forest because I've never had a game punch me in the gut so early on as that game did. It pulled me in so quickly. I feel like that's what I want out of my video games. I want them to evoke some kind of emotion from me, and Ori and the Blind Forest did that.
We've had 3 different picks already. This is going to be a tight one.
Yep.
Steve, what do you think?
It is going to be a tight one. I mean, this is such a strong year for indie games, but if we're talking about games that brought out emotion to me, I don't think I had more emotions than playing Rocket League. Nothing has grabbed me this year like Rocket League, and it just amazes me that something this polished comes out of such a small studio. I mean, these guys just put their hearts and souls into this car soccer game, and it became a phenomenon that I think it deserves to be.
Before I pass it on to anybody else, I'm just going to go ahead and make my vote. I'm going to agree with Steve with Rocket League. Part of the reason I agree is because we played this game together so much this year. Seriously, I cannot remember a game I've played as much as I played Rocket League.
That's great.
And the fact that it came from such a small studio, what a incredible achievement. So let's wrap this up. Scott, what are you going with?
Ori and the Blind Forest, for sure. I like stories about giant, misunderstood creatures who don't last long in the experience. The creature actually comes back later.
All right. What about you, Rags?
For this category, I think Her Story, because it was such a different experience and sort of moving the narrative along in video games, I really, really enjoyed that.
Man, I think we've got 2 all across the board here. Jose, you're going to have to be the tiebreaker.
Her Story, I thought, was definitely a unique experience, but once you're done, it's over. And then you have Rocket League that you can just play over and over again. I have a DeLorean, okay? I'm making goals in a DeLorean, and I just like the power of love. So definitely Rocket League is getting my vote.
So congratulations to Psyonix and Rocket League, Best Independent Game of 2015. Now we're going to move on to what is always the hardest category, I think. It's the action game category. We are going to talk about Bloodborne, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Batman Arkham Knight, of course. We've got Just Cause 3, a late entry, and Metal Gear Solid 5, of course. So let's start with Jose. What'd you think, my friend?
I mean, again, all tough games to, judge and pick a favorite, but for me, I have to go with the game that I put a whole lot of hours into. Rise of the Tomb Raider, I couldn't stop playing this game. I thought it was done, and there was like 4 hours left, and it was 4 in the morning, and I just had to finish it. Rise of the Tomb Raider is going to get my vote.
I liked Rise of the Tomb Raider, but I really didn't understand why it didn't.
But there's tombs.
That's enough from you.
When are you going to get to Batman?
I'm not going to talk about Batman.
Okay.
I was kind of let down by Batman, but you can fix that later. Of course, it's going to be Bloodborne. I thought this was really an achievement. It's not an RPG. Sure, there's some RPG elements in there. It's mostly an action game. Like, it is action game through and through, and I love action games. I love Devil May Cry. I love this kind of thing. This is my kind of game. This gets my vote without a doubt.
And more action in this game than any of the Dark Souls games.
Oh, yeah.
You can't hide behind a shield.
Yeah.
You got to dodge.
I don't need to hide.
You got to be active.
I'm good.
You know who's really active? Maybe the most active person here?
Steve Tilley.
Yeah.
I knew it.
If you think of Bloodborne being part of the Souls franchise, every one of these games is a part of a series, a continuation, and I don't think some of them brought enough new to the experience. Some of them went too far out of the experience. I think the perfect mix was Rise of the Tomb Raider because it took the success of the first game and
they added tombs.
Perfectly built on that. Added tombs, 9 whole tombs you can raid now. It just sucked me in for so long, and I had to see it through to the end.
I mean, obviously, Rise is a bigger game than the first game, although I think there's a lot of controversy around Laura suddenly becoming such a killer with guns. She shoots so many guys in this game.
Yeah.
But obviously, yeah, beautiful, great mechanics. Sort of like Sophia. What do you think? Best action game?
I'm going to have to go with Rise of the Tomb Raider. Granted, I spent a lot of time just hunting stuff, just exploring the world, raiding tombs. I mean, the shooting part, you're going to have to do it at some point. But I actually just really enjoyed being Lara and just finding all the collectibles on the map. So if I have spare time, I'm just go back to Rise of the Tomb Raider.
It's going to happen a lot this year.
It's fun being Laura. It's fun being Laura. It's true, but we're forgetting about someone very important, and his name is Rico Rodriguez. You're forgetting all about Just Cause 3. I'm sorry, but all of these action games, I feel like action adventure, it all combines in Just Cause 3. All these things, it has everything, man. It's good stuff, and that's what's getting my vote, even though clearly it doesn't matter.
Clearly, I need to sit you all down and play Batman again with all of you because the story is incredible and the graphics and the action adventure in Batman Arkham Knight are peerless.
If only there was no Batmobile, we'd all agree with you, right?
Okay.
What's your pick?
You know what? I have a soft spot for Rico. I love Just Cause, but no, it's going to Rise of the Tomb Raider. I agree. I think it was a fabulous game.
It's amazing.
Well, even though I picked Bloodborne, it doesn't really matter because Rise of the Tomb Raider, congratulations to Crystal Dynamics, Best Action Adventure of 2015. Now we have one more award we want to give out really quickly. This is the Best Visuals of 2015. We're just going to go ahead and give the Star Wars Battlefront.
Yep.
Because
Holy
crap. This is like you're in Star Wars.
It's so beautiful.
Look at the lasers. Darth Vader. The snow and the icicles. Anyway, awesome work on making this game, DiceyDA. Best Visuals of 2015. We've got a lot more, so stick around. EP Daily.
This episode of EP Daily is brought to you by Collective Minds, the makers of the PS4 Cool and Charge stand and the Xbox One Media Hub, available at EB Games.
Welcome back to EP Daily. Vic and I just jetted back to the EP Daily studio here to continue our 25 seasons in 25 days. Victor Lucas, what's on the schedule today?
Well, it's season 22. This is when Jose was lucky enough to go all over Roma in search of Ezio.
Love this one.
Ciao, it is I, Don Fubario de California, in Rome on assignment for the Electric Playgrounds Assassin Guild. I'm on the hunt for Ezio Auditore de Firenze. Have we lost him to the Templars? We'll find out when I find him. The cool thing about being in Italy is that I can see all the actual locations where Ezio plied his trade.
Assassin's Creed 2 visits many great Italian cities, with key moments on Florence's Ponte Vecchio, which is now a bridge covered in jewelry stores, and along Venice's Grand Canal, where gondoliers can still be heard singing.
Right behind me is the Vatican, the setting for Ezio's epic final battle against Rodrigo Borgia, the leader of the Templar Orders. It's also where Ezio had a change of heart about killing.
I let him leave.
The Spaniard lives?
The Vatican is the home to the Pope and the Catholic Church. And most amazingly, it's actually an independent nation completely surrounded by Rome. Michelangelo, the artist, not the Ninja Turtle, did some design work for most of the buildings inside Vatican City. But I'm not here to talk about Ninja Turtles. I'm here to find an assassin. Ezio, where are you? Still no sign of Ezio, so I'm here on Tiber Island, Ezio's base of operations in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Now this is where the Order of Assassins was located, and as you can see, this place is still teeming with intrigue.
You'll die for that!
Perhaps Ezio left me a clue, maybe a glyph or a feather. The Baths of Diocletian. Many an assassin's blade were cleaned here in the grandest of all public baths in Rome. Built between the years 298 AD and 306 AD, perhaps Ezio left me a clue nearby, his whereabouts. Ezio's quest brought him here, to the Palazzo Sanitario, built upon the archives of ancient Rome.
While Ezio received a few important clues and answers here, all I got was a snack.
I followed the money here to the Pantheon. In Brotherhood, Ezio had to climb through the oculus at the top of the Pantheon, an ancient structure that became one of the most famous and oldest churches in all of Rome. If only there was something nearby to light my path. The twin churches of Santa Maria dei Miracoli and Santa Maria de Montesanto. As Ezio knows, it's the perfect place to lose those following you when you're in a quick hurry. I even saw my twin roaming around here as well, but that's not quite the Ezio I'm looking for. I'm standing here near the tomb where the first Roman Emperor Augustus is buried, and where Ezio met legendary writer and philosopher Niccolò Machiavelli. According to the game, Machiavelli was a member of the Assassin Order.
Interesting.
As you can see, there's no sign of him here or Ezio. And here we are at the Lair of Romulus. Modern-day Romans know this place as the Colosseum, but ancient Romans refer to it as Amphitheatro Flavio.
Built over 2,000 years ago, it could once hold 50,000 spectators for such events as animal hunts, executions, and of course, gladiator matches.
It is here at Castel St. Angelo, the castle of the popes, where Ezio had to scale the castle walls in order to assassinate Pope Alexander VI, later returning to rescue Caterina Sforza and attempt to assassinate Cesare and Rodrigo Borgia. He would return years later to watch Cesare himself handle Rodrigo. If only it were that easy to find Ezio. Well, I didn't find Ezio here because, like a good assassin, he knows how to hide. I did, however, manage to get an awesome tour of the ancient city of Rome, and I even managed to get some souvenirs for Vic and Brianna. Now I'm going to take a leap of faith into that fountain over there so I can scrounge up some money for a bus ride home.
Jose Sanchez, he's bellissimo.
Okay. We do love him. Stick around. We got the Twitter question of the day after the break. If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to EP Daily. It's time now for the best part of every episode. It's the Twitter question of the day. Today's question comes from Aaron David Springer. He is at Neo Chivalry. Very nice Twitter handle there. Yeah. Are there games where the story makes or breaks your fun, or can game mechanics alone save a game?
Game mechanics alone do save a game, and I've got a great example here of a game
got one too.
that would have been much better with a better story, and that's Rise of the Tomb Raider. I think it's a terrific game. It's a phenomenal game, but the biggest problem with that game is that none of the ancillary characters around Lara are as interesting as her. And if you compare that to Uncharted, there are lots of really interesting characters that could each have their own through lines and stories, and that's why it didn't resonate with me as much as Uncharted games do, or even the first Tomb Raider game.
This is a landmark moment. First time ever I've agreed with Victor Lucas, but for me it's the Devil May Cry series. I don't even like any of the characters or the setting in the game, but I love the mechanics so much that I keep going back to that series and probably will keep going back to that series.
Great question. Great question. And if you want to get caught up on the show, watch some of our questions, go to epn.tv. And if you like what we do on EP, please support us on our YouTube channel. Please click subscribe.
And that's it for today's episode. But tune in tomorrow. I can't believe I'm saying this. We're apparently giving away more Rocket and Reagan awards. How many of these things do we have?
Many, many more.
Thanks for watching, guys.
We'll see you tomorrow. EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox. EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by Gameloft, makers of Asphalt 8 Airborne, which you can play on your Android or iOS device for free right now.
When I was playing Fallout 4, I thought I was playing Fallout 4.
Yeah. Sick burn, dude.
I downloaded the wrong code. Maybe that's what it was. No, I mean, obviously Fallout 4, great game. All these games, they're great.